What's up, everybody? I just want to show y'all where I fit on the political compass, basically. Yeah, I'm pretty much like a classical liberal thing, you know what I'm saying? Like an old school, like 2000 anti-war type, you know what I'm saying? Like a Glenn Greenwald type liberal, closely, but bit more libertarian in the Ron Paul direction, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not really socialist, I'm more like a mixed economy type guy. So let's see where I fit on this thing. If economic globalization is inevitable, it should primarily serve humanity rather than the interests of, oh, duh. Of course, because basically transnational corporations are ripping us off right now. Alright, I already support my country, whether it was right or wrong. Strongly disagree. Especially the Iraq War and any war we've done after 9/11. Seriously, it's been ridiculous imperialism. No one chooses his or her country at birth, so it's foolish to be proud of it. I disagree. Oh yeah, I do think it is foolish to be proud of it. Even though I do love the United States, I love this country, but it's not like the. It's not the. I mean, the United States right now is not for where I want it to be. Like I want a better vision of the United States right now than what we're having right now. Alright, our race has many superior qualities compared to. Strongly disagree. It's more about cultural values. Let's look at a white country like Argentina. It has a lower standard of living than a black country like Barbados. And you know the big reason why? Barbados has an English-derived culture of like capitalism. Yeah, basically like a British culture of capitalism, Protestant culture, you know what I'm saying? Basically like the British culture, where Argentina has the more Latin culture and they're a lot more lazier, you know what I'm saying? Basically, Latins are lazier than British, you know what I'm saying? British are always mercantile, they're always about their money, you know what I'm saying? They're always about that capitalism. They're always about having a strong, you know what I'm saying, like a strong financial foundation, a strong bank, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't have the inflations like Argentina does, where it's like all over the place and shit. Very stable politics in like Argentina. Yeah, you know where I'm getting at. The enemy is my friend. Starting to disagree. It's just an ally. An ally is not really a friend. Military does fight international laws sometimes. Oh, hell no. Nah. Especially a lot of illegal wars are doing right now. There is now a worrying fusion of information. Oh, yes! It's too much. Especially all this woke politics and pop culture. Oh man, 2020 is the last year of all of this woke pop culture nonsense. I want to get back to the 90s. I want to get back like when Gen X controlled the pop culture. Nowadays, it's just all like homogenized. But anyways, people are divided more by class than nationality. Trying to disagree. I grew up in South LA. It's more nationality. People stick to their own kind for the most part. Let's keep it real. Controlling inflation is more important than controlling unemployment. Strongly agree. Because if you don't have no money, you have no money to pay people. Just like in Venezuela. Because corporations cannot be trusted to voluntarily protect the environment, they require regulation. You know what? Yeah, this is where I'll show I will deviate from libertarian orthodoxy. They do require regulation. From each according to his ability, to each according to his need, is a fundamentally good idea. Yeah, the workers. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I see where it's going. It's a left-wing communist argument. From each according to his ability, to each. I would slightly disagree with that. It's a sad reflection on our society that something as basic as drinking water is now a bottle. Oh yeah, 100%. Land shouldn't be a commodity to be bought and sought. I mean, the way things are set up right now, it just no. I like the setup it is right now. Because I have wealthy relatives. Basically, yeah. Land should be sold and bought. I don't know. I'm a capitalist to my bones. You know what I'm saying? It's regrettable that many personal fortunes are, with slight regulation, it's regrettable many personal fortunes are made by people who simply manipulate money and contribute nothing to the society. That's true. But there's a skill in manipulating money, so I strongly disagree. I mean, a lot of left wing shit is just hating, to be real with you. Protectionism is, I agree with that. I agree with what Trump is doing right now, but he's being reckless about it, like belligerent against China and trade war. But it's about time we take on China. You know what I'm saying? They've been ripping us off for the last 30 or something years, especially like all the jobs being sent out like overseas for yeah, it's basically taken away from American workers. You know what I'm saying? It's taken away from the average Americans. All right, the only social responsibility of the company should be to deliver profit to its shareholders. I agree with that. The rich are too highly taxed. Disagree. It should be a fair tax. No ridiculous high taxes, but but no low tax. Just a fair tax, something flat. You know what I'm saying? What we used to have before the Reagan era, or around the Reagan era, something like that. Those with the ability to pay should have higher access to higher standards of medical care. Let's see here. I'll agree with that. I mean, yeah. I mean, you end up in a situation like LA if you get like a lot of homeless people in like the hospitals, and yeah, it'll lower the standards of everything because basically homeless people don't really take showers. It's just biological hazard. It's a biohazard. All right, government should penalize businesses that mislead the public. No. What's the government's business to punish businesses? What? Nah, that's way too authoritarian for me. The genuine free market requires restrictions on the ability to purchase nationality. Genuine free market. Restrictions on ability to. I'm gonna go like a bit free here. The freedom market. Oh yeah, of course. Abortion, when a woman's life is not threatened, should always be illegal. I disagree. I'm a pro-choice person. I mean, I don't want the government in control of women's bodies. But there is a caveat to that. There's a nuance to that. I'm basically up to the third month. In the third month, that's a living being. So basically, I would put a law for murder if it's past the third month. So I'm like pro-choice for 3 months. Yeah. All authority should be questioned, especially with this bozo in the White House. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. I'll go with that. Taxpayers should not be expected to profit. Oh, yeah. Yeah, why should we? Schools should not make classroom attendance compulsory. Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, you can learn more outside of the school system than you can in school, because a lot of school nowadays is just brainwashing. You don't really learn critical thinking from schools anymore. You know what I'm saying? You test a student today and like on like classical history and all that, they're like confused, like what? What's their study? What? Nowadays, all the information is in books. All people have their rights, but it's better for all of us to different. I disagree with that. That's I mean, especially being in California, I'm used to dealing with a diversity of people. Like a lot of my best friends are different races, like Indian, Jewish, Filipino, Mexican, Guatemalan. I got friends of many different backgrounds. Good parents sometimes have to spank their children. I disagree with that. You can discipline somebody without physically touching them. It's natural for children to keep some secrets from their parents. I agree. Possessing marriage person should not. Oh yes. It's ridiculous why the government makes it illegal anyway. I mean, the reason why it's illegal is because it comes to profits of cigarette and alcohol come. That's all it is. The prime function of schooling should be to equip the future generation to find jobs. That's the main function of the idea, so I'll give it a agree. People with serious and heritable diseases should not be allowed to reproduce. But oh no, I'm gonna go try and disagree with define jobs, but I mean we need to get back to critical thinking, because you know what I'm saying, like the generation after me basically doesn't have a compass of like Chomsky, Foucault, you know what I'm saying, Derrida, like these type of thinkers. There used to be these type of thinkers that nowadays don't really exist. It needs to get back to like critical thinking and civic nationalism. But anyways, people should not be like, I strongly disagree. The most important thing for children is set discipline. I disagree. They need to basically learn values, basically learn right from wrong. There's no savage civilized. I strongly disagree. I strongly disagree, especially me being deployed overseas to Iraq for years. You can tell. I mean, even in LA, which is kind of crappy nowadays, it still is developed compared to Baghdad. I mean, seriously, the development differences between both countries are completely obvious. You can tell why. It's because of the cultural backgrounds of both places. I mean, really, yeah. I mean, this has had a historical, yeah, the liberal, yeah, exactly. It's very backwards compared to the U.S. Yeah. So, those are number work. Infused opportunities should not expect society's support. I agree. I agree. You're doing too much calling nowadays. To be real with you, it's just, it's California. When you're in trouble, it's better not to think about it. But yeah, I agree with that. No. I strongly disagree. I'm a black pill. I'm all about the black pill. First generation immigrants can never be fully integrated within their new country. I strongly agree, especially me being a native of Southern California, because I know some immigrants, like some immigrants that barely learn English. They barely speak English. Like I don't know a few Latinos that don't even speak English and lived there over 10 years. Yeah, that's real. What's good for the most successful corporations ultimately, yeah, I strongly disagree with that. No. I strongly agree. No, yeah, strongly agree. Yeah, because American corporations really has changed the world in a very positive way, especially companies like shit. I give Apple. I give Apple some love. Ford a lot of love. McDonald's some love. Starbucks some love. It's not a good benefit. No broadcast institution having independent content should receive public funding. I strongly agree with that. We don't need the government to fund entertainment. Our civil liberties are excessively curbed in the name of counter strongly agree, especially after 9/11. We basically are being pushed towards a surveillance state right now. You know what I'm saying? Like all of this homeland of national security, all of these big like national security, you know what I'm saying, like national security stages kept growing after 9/11, and I want it all like brought down, all less of like FBI, CIA, NSA, Homeland Security, all of they all need to be shut down. Significant advantage of one party state that avoids all the arguments and delay process. That's true, especially in California where you can have ridiculous bills like AB5 passed with no pushback. The only way you can get rid of AB5 is to have the governor sign something, or you can vote out the dumbass that wrote that law, Lorena Gonzalez. Although for election days makes offense, no, I strongly disagree. There's been a lot of government abuse, especially the whole FISA thing right now. The death penalty should be an option for the most serious crimes. I'll go a bit from libertarian orthodox with that one. In civilized society, one must always have people above be obeyed and people below to be commanded. I strongly disagree. It's more like I'm more like a voluntary type. You know what I'm saying? Instead of like having authority telling you do this right now. Nah, I'm like a voluntary liberal type. You know what I'm saying? Abstract art, yeah, I agree. Criminal justice punishment should be more important. Strongly disagree. It's about yeah. It's a waste of time, but I do agree with this. The businessman and manufacturer more important than the writer and artist. Strongly agree. Mothers, their first duty is to be homemakers. In this society right now, like you can't really have that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the neoliberal society basically blew up the whole like mom be a homemaker, dad work in the factory. You know what I'm saying? Like that doesn't exist no more. It was like a Ford Keynesian model, and that got destroyed by neoliberals. So nowadays, women do have to work just to make things Just, just to make it economically wise nowadays. So yeah, I strongly disagree with this. I'll put strongly disagree. Most unnatural corporations are unethically exploiting the plant genetic resources of the. Oh yeah, of course they are. That's the empirical facts. Making a peace establishment is an important aspect of maturity. I strongly disagree. Especially the way our establishment's been for the last, shit, 40, 50 years. It's been that way my whole lifetime. I strongly disagree. That's strongly just bullshit. I strongly disagree with that. Because Buddhism, I mean, yeah, like Buddhism strongly, you know what I'm saying? It's strongly moral, but it's not really a strong religion. It's just a set of like spiritual teachings. But which God is the right God? I'm more of agnostic because I don't know which God is the right God. You know what I'm saying? Me, other people say their God is the right God, but which one is the correct one? It's confusion in my mind. Charity is better than Social Security as a means of helping the genuine disadvantaged. I agree because Social Security is government bureaucracy. Some people are naturally unlucky. I strongly disagree. Just like basically, I was told by a doctor like I was mildly retarded, but if you see the successes I made in my life, you'd be like, how did this guy pull this off? I worked my way to it. If you have a strong will to succeed, you can do anything. It's important that my school. I'm not religious. I'm like a theist, agnostic, somewhere around there. Sex on the side marriage is usually immoral. Strongly disagree. I mean, yeah, I'm honestly a bit better than this. The same-sex culture and stable, loving relationships should not be excluded from the possibility. I strongly agree because I have a relative who grew up with a lesbian couple. He came out. He came out a regular male, you know what I'm saying? Regular masculine dude from two lesbian women. I mean, especially learns some masculinity from the butch mother. You know? Pornography should be legal for it. Oh, yeah, strongly agree. But I do agree with some kind of ID system for children. I do agree with that. Children should be, like, seeing porn as young, you know what I'm saying? It does mess with your mind a bit. What goes on in a private bedroom between consenting adults is no business state. Strongly agree. No one can feel. Nah, there's just nah. It's the hormones. I mean, homosexual people have different hormones than heterosexual people. It's a scientific, empirical fact. But I do agree with openness. Sex has gone way too far. It's even spilled to kids now, especially like the whole transgender movement, the whole like drag queen story hour. It's just gotten out of hand nowadays. Some children are exposed to like degeneracy I was never exposed to as a kid. I mean, I'm a kid of the Reagan era. I was born in the Reagan era, so basically the stuff that I saw as a kid was not as a kid sees now. They're seeing a lot more open degeneracy now because of like technology. But I mean these days it's gone a bit. I mean the Overton window's got a bit out of hand, bit out of hand. So let's see where I stand. Let's see. Here's the different scales: libertarian right, libertarian left, authoritarian right, authoritarian left, authoritarian right. These are communists, basic Republicans, libertarians, and like your anti-war left. You know what I'm saying? Like your Bernie, like your Tulsi Gabbard types. Based off the language of Chomsky. You know what I'm saying? Like anarcho-syndicalists. Let's see where I fit. Oh, whoa! I am a bit of a libertarian. No surprise there. I'm just a less government type guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm like a voluntary type guy, like a capitalist. You know what I'm saying? But I do agree with like state intervention in some forms of capitalism, but most of it is just smaller government bureaucracy. Like let's get rid of ICE. Let's get rid of Homeland Security. Let's get rid of let's merge the FBI and the CIA together. I have no idea why those two are separate. We don't need separate. Just smash together. If you need a state intelligence agency, just smash them together. We don't need separate agencies. That's all government. That's all bureaucracy. You know what I'm saying? Like we need less of that, man. We need to go back to the America of like. I mean, like America before, like all of these big government bureaucracies and like this corporatocracy. I don't know. I mean, I'm a child of Reagan. You know what I'm saying? I miss the Reagan era, like economics a bit. You know what I'm saying? Like it was a bit too neoliberal. I mean, it was neoliberal, but it wasn't like out of control, like corporatocracy neoliberal. You know what I'm saying? It still had like that old school, like America, pick up yourself in the bootstraps type America. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, there was a bit of contradiction there because the Reagan era, they had a lot of like the crack epidemic, and a lot of Republicans tend to be hardcore drug warriors, which basically put a lot of like people of color in jail. You know what I'm saying? It was really bad, but I'm wishing for an economic situation similar to like the 80s, like the Reagan era 80s, in a social situation similar to the 90s to the early 2000s. Like basically, like I was a 2000s anti-war liberal. Like I was strongly against the Bush war in Iraq, and I'm strongly against neocons. I'm strongly against like neocon imperialism. But you know what I'm saying, calling someone a neocon isn't really like calling somebody like a Jew, you know what I'm saying? But the thing is, neocons do have a hard on for Israel. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of our foreign policy is oriented towards Israel, and I'm more foreign policy wise of I agree with a lot of Trump shit on like American first foreign policy. That's like one of my strongest agreements with him outside of trade is like the foreign policy. He's done a lot of good things foreign policy wise, like bringing North and South Korea together after this ridiculous, crazy tweets. And he's been leading, to be honest, he has been leading like freedom movements around the world. Like look what's happening like in Hong Kong. They're going up against the Chinese regime. You're seeing the Iranians protest the Iranian government. You're seeing a lot of neoliberal, like you know what I'm saying, like a lot of neoliberal governments being protested around the world. Like populism, you know what I'm saying, populism is becoming the thing, and like I got a thing with populism, you know what I'm saying. I agree with like a bit of populism, you know what I'm saying. And I'm not really open borders type guy, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm more of like a controlled immigration, like a Canadian system, you know what I'm saying? Like a Canadian point system. We need to have immigrants that like fit American, you know what I'm saying? Like American culture, American values, you know what I'm saying? Like our common law, like our Bill of Rights, you know what I'm saying? Like the Constitution. Like yeah, I'm a constitutionalist. I mean, like I'm pro Second Amendment and very pro free speech. Like I'm the type of guy you can say wherever the fuck you want, you know what I'm saying? Free expression, free speech. That's the type of guy I am. I'm not like a hardcore right winger where I'm like for free speech, where I'm like against porn, or I'm a hardcore leftist where I'm pro expression but anti speech. I'm like free all that. That's the way. I mean, basically, the way my politics is transparency for the government, freedom for me. That's basically what it is. A civil libertarian, civil libertarian for a Keynesian style, Keynesian libertarian style economics, something like that. So, follow me on Twitter, Jonathan310. Please subscribe to my channel if you're interested in classical, civil, libertarian views of a black guy in Southern California. All right, have a good night.